Welcome back. In part 1, we discovered the mythology and the mystery around VCO. We spoke to some people and sought their views, and we also spoke to an insider about what really goes on behind the VCO curtain. In part 2, we'll speak to people who actually work in VCO and find out what it is really like working there. Hi John, thanks for coming along to answer some questions for me today.
You're welcome, Leslie. Would you like a cup of tea?
No thank you. Okay, so first of all, can I ask you to describe a typical week in the office for me, please?
I don't think I can. I don't think any 2 days or weeks are the same. The variety is endless.
Sounds interesting. What's the biggest challenge to a successful outcome?
I suppose the biggest challenge is being able to get your point across without offending people, and so that they'll listen to what you have to say. So part of it's establishing a relationship.
Okay. How do you influence senior leaders and the company to do the right thing?
Again, in my opinion, I think it's about having a good relationship so that they trust you, or as much as they can trust you.
Okay. And you'll be pleased to know, last question, what's Barry O'Dwyer really like?
He's horrible.
Hi Alan, thanks for coming along today to answer some questions for me.
Absolute pleasure. Would you like a cup of tea?
No thank you.
Sure.
Positive.
It's lovely tea.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, can I ask you to describe a typical week in the office?
Well, typical week generally can be quite challenging. Unplanned meetings, unscheduled conversations with people, but the important thing is that we're here when people need us.
Okay. You said challenging. What's the biggest challenge to a successful outcome?
Biggest challenge, I would probably say lack of understanding from the company as to what's important to the employees, and that's why we're here, to put them right on those things.
Okay. How do you influence senior leaders in the company then to do the right thing?
Again, quite difficult. A lot of senior leaders are very open to listening to what we have to say, but managers are people too, and they have different views and they have different priorities, so they're looking after the needs of the business. We're here to look after the needs of the employees. Sometimes those things are aligned, sometimes those things are in contention, and that's when it becomes difficult. It's really all about putting forward a practical and well thought out case, and that's what I always do.
Okay. In this organisation, within an organisation, how do you keep order? What type of things do you do to keep order in what could sometimes be a chaotic?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because what we can't afford is anarchy, and it's really important we have consistency and agreed processes. So there are two things. We have a constitution, a well-respected and well-regarded constitution, and we also have a partnership agreement with the company that allows us to reach agreement as amicably as possible.
So you have two things that keep you in order then?
I have two things that keep us in order, yes.
Okay, and finally, last question. What's Barry O'Dwyer really like?
Couldn't tell you, never met the man.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Hi Susan, thanks for coming along to talk to me today.
Before we start, can I get you a wee cup of tea?
Oh, well, that's kind of you, but thank you, no.
Okay.
So I've just got a few questions to ask you. So first of all, can you describe a typical week in the office?
Probably a lot busier than what I was expecting. It's quite varied. So this week, for example, I've got quite a bit of work going on with Elevate, so recruiting new reps in Elevate. We have got some work on the go on consultation, and we're prepping for our annual conference, so there's quite a lot on the go, a bit of variety, and I think that's probably the biggest surprise that I had since joining the team, is just how much actually goes on within the VCO.
So quite busy then?
It can be. You sure you don't want a cup of tea?
I'm positive, thank
Okay.
you.
So yeah, it's busy, but you never quite know what's going to come in. So some days you can have a very well planned out day, and then it just all goes a bit peak tong. So
sometimes can be a wee bit chaotic.
I'm not so sure I would say chaotic. I think it's about how we react and how we reprioritise what comes in, but it certainly keeps us busy.
And do you have anything to support you in the sense of, principles or, some sort of terms of reference or constitution that helps you with that?
Don't mention the Constitution. Gosh, that's the bane of my life. Yes, we have a Constitution. I have many sleepless nights over that, so I think it is a challenge to get my head around how that works, and I think that in order for us to be progressive thinkers, I think we need to look at that and see if it's what we need just now.
Maybe reading it might help with the sleepless nights.
Trust me, that's it's been read many times, that it puts you to sleep at times. So,
what's the biggest challenge to a successful outcome?
I think we just spoke about that. I think it was the Constitution. So I think for me there's something about mindset shift, and taking the humour out of it. The Constitution is an area which does create quite a lot of debate and a lot of discussion, and as much as we believe that there's a need to have some kind of guidance, do we apply it as a bit of a rule book to hit people over the head with? So I think that one of the challenges is if we want to take people with us on a journey of change, then we need to accept that we need to do things differently. So.
Okay. How do you influence senior leaders in the company to do the right thing?
So there's a key part regarding establishing relationships, and it's based on mutual trust, and it's about having real honest conversations about the impact of not taking action just as much as the result that you would get if you did. It's about being able to position proposals in a way that would mean something for them. So each one of our senior leaders have a very different outlook, and it's about understanding and knowing them as to what would pique their interest, I suppose. So it's about putting it across in a way that helps them understand what it could mean, should we change something or improve something.
Okay. Talking about senior leadership, please do notice the last question. What's Barry O'Dwyer really like?
Barry's really, so I enjoy my interactions with Barry. I think he is genuinely interested in people, and I think that comes across when, certainly when I've met him. He's keen to know what the word on the street is. Does have a wee twinkle in his eye, obviously, and I think that helps. I think that he's very engaging in his style, very personable, but I think deep down there's an ingrained desire to improve things for people and do the right thing. So it's quite an enjoyable experience to work with him.
Okay, thank you very much, Susan.
Thank you. You sure I can get you?
Absolutely positive. Thank you.
Okay.